2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to get started making this pattern here, okay, in Tunisian crochet. All right, so I'm going to use this to make a pillow, and I've double stranded it. So if you don't have two skeins of yarn, you can pull from the center as well as the outside at the same time in order to get the two strands that you want. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started and show you how to get started. Let me pull some yarn out. I'm double stranding it. It's my new favorite thing to do. Instead of buying chunky yarn, you can just double strand some worsted weight yarn, and it also, you know, you can work on some special color variations or whatever. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a simple slip knot. If you want to know how to make a slip knot, I have a video, put it in the description. Okay, so I'm going to start with a slip knot. So in order to make Tunisian crochet, you need a hook and you need a cord, because the stitches, you will not complete the stitches, you will hold loops on the cord, and the longer your project, the more loops you will need. Now for this pillow that I've made, I measured it against another pillow. So however, whatever the size pillow that you want is the length of chain that you should make. Okay, so if you want a 16-inch pillow, you can make your chain 16 inches. If you want it 10 inches, the cool thing about this is that you could customize it. You don't have to use a pillow fill. You can put stuffing in it, so you can customize the size of the pillows. You can make them rectangle, you can make them very large, very small, and you don't have to worry. So I'm going to go ahead and just make a chain. Okay, and to make a chain, you start with the slip knot, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through, however long you want it. Okay, now remember, I'm double stranding mine. You don't have to do that, but I want a chunky pillow. You can use whatever size you want, whatever size yarn you want, and you make the chain however long you want. I believe this one that I made here, see the edge, how pretty, nice and neat and even. I'm going to show you how to do that now. Here, this is about 14 inches long. Okay, so if I were to make the same pillow, I would make this 14 inches long, but I'm just doing demonstration right here. So I'm just gonna make a few more. Okay, now you have this beautiful chain here, nice and even. Remember, try and keep your tension even, and I want you to flip it and go to the back side of it. Now you're going to see all these little bumps there. Okay, here are some bumps here. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to take your hook, and I'm going to skip that first bump, and I'm going to go into this bump. Okay, and I'm going to insert my hook into that bump. Now again, I'm double stranding, so it's going to be fiddly. I'm going to yarn over, pull it through. Now that's it. I'm not going to do anything else to this stitch. I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to look for the next bump. It might be difficult to see on camera. Insert my hook, yarn over, and pull it through, and leave it on the hook. And I'm going to do that all the way down. I'm going to look for the next bump, yarn over, and pull it through. So this is going to come in handy when you have a really long chain. If you're not going to make a huge pillow, you can get away with just this, but I recommend that you have this nice long cord that has a stopper at the end so the stitches don't fall off. So we're going to go ahead and finish this. Look for the bump, yarn over, pull it through. Look for the bump, yarn over, pull it through, keep it on the hook, look for the bump, yarn over, pull it through, for the bump, yarn over, pull it through. See that? This is called the forward pass. Look for the bump, yarn over, pull it through, look for the bump, look for the bump, yarn over, pull it through, look for the bump, yarn over, pull it through. Okay, look for the bump, and we have one more. That last bump, insert the hook, yarn over, and pull it through. Okay, so this is just demonstration purposes. So if you want 12 inches, you're going to do it by inches. You don't count the stitches when you're making a pillow, right? So you make the chain as long as the pillow that you want, pillow or washcloth or whatever panel you're going to use this for. And then the longer you make it, the more hooks you'll have, and then you'll see that they will spill over. And then you'll see that in the next part of the video, how it spills over. That was called the forward pass. I'm going to show you the return pass. So in the return pass, you're going to yarn over and pull it through only one. Okay. Let me try that again, because pull it through one. Okay, my yarn split there. Okay, so now I have the loop from the stitch I just started and the loop from the previous row, and I'm going to yarn over and pull it through two. Okay, yarn over and pull it through two, yarn over and pull it through two, all the way down. Okay, and just do that all the way down, and that is called the return pass. Okay, return pass, and there you go. Then you're back with one loop. Okay, so that's how you get started with any Tunisian crochet project, I believe, right? You start with the chain, and look what a lovely clean edge that makes. Okay, with the forward pass and the return pass. Let me show you. Where is it? Over here. Okay, look at how nice, sorry, look at how nice and clean that edge looks. So that's going to make it easy to sew them together, or just leave it flat. It's just going to have a nice flat look. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and make some more stitches. This is the panel that I've been working on. I showed you how to do the starting chain and the forward pass and the return pass. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to work on the next few rows. So as I've mentioned before, I have double stranded it because this is going to be a pillow and I'm going to be stuffing it. I'm not going to be using a pillow form. I wanted this to be nice and thick. So you can see the pattern. A very pretty pattern. I think it's called the honeycomb stitch, but I'm not sure because I have a pattern book and it's just numbered. So if you want to practice some cool stitches, you should go ahead and get yourself a pattern book and practice some stitches. And if you don't want to do a washcloth, a pillow is a great way to practice those stitches. So let me show you what it looks like on the other side. Okay, so this is the other side of the fabric. It looks like pearl bumps. For those of you who know how to knit, this is what the pearl bumps look like, right? Yeah, so the great thing about Tunisian crochet is that it has a look of knit, but it's actually done with just a crochet hook. So here is the panel that I'm working on. Again, I'm double stranding it. I love the color orange, and I'm using this Red Heart Super Saver yarn. And let me see if I can get the color is pumpkin. That's the color that I'm using. And it says to use a 5.5. Here we go. A 5.5 millimeter hook, or a size I. And I've double stranded it. So I'm using the same hook size recommended because, as I said, I want a nice thick fabric. You don't have to do that. You can go ahead and do single strand. You can go up a hook size or down a hook size, whatever. I'm not giving you exact instructions, just general ideas on how to go ahead and do this. Crochet, Tunisian crochet, knitting, these are all art. And when you're learning how to do a stitch, you are just learning how to do the stitch. The rest is up to you. You choose the colors, you choose the hook. These are just guidelines, not rules, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and show you this stitch here, okay? And I'm going to get started. So here's my hook. Here's my hook, and here is my stitch on my hook. So when you're going to use Tunisian crochet, you need a hook like this and a cord. The reason why you need this cord is because you are going to go ahead and put all your stitches on here, okay? And so the longer you make your project, the longer the cord is going to be. If you're just going to make a washcloth or something small, you can go ahead and use just a crochet hook. But if you're serious about Tunisian crochet, go ahead and invest in something with a cord. And as you can see, this has a stopper at the end so that my stitches won't fall off when I reach the end, okay? So let's go ahead, enough chat, and let's go ahead and get started with this honeycomb stitch, I believe. Sorry about the shaky camera. Not really sure why it's shaking so much. So let's go ahead and get started. So in order to get these nice clean edges here, the first and last stitch of every row should be a knit stitch or a simple stitch. So for this pattern, I'm going to use a simple stitch and a purl stitch, okay? A simple stitch and a purl stitch, okay? A Tunisian simple stitch. So let's go ahead and get started. So you take your hook and you see that there are these bars that are here. You see them? These are bars. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your hook and insert it from right to left under the leg of the bar. Now, I have 2 strands here because I'm double stranding it. If I were not, it would just be 1 strand of yarn, okay? But it's just the front bar. My yarn is in the back of my work. I'm inserting my hook from the right to the left, okay? I'm wrapping my yarn around and I'm pulling it through. And now I have 2 loops on my hook. I'm not going to do anything with them. I'm not going to crochet them or do anything. They are going to remain on the hook, just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and, so that was the Tunisian simple stitch. Now I'm going to show you another Tunisian simple stitch. Now let me show you something. Look at my stitches here. I have a short stitch, I have a tall stitch. I have a short stitch, I have a tall stitch. So when you see a short stitch, that means that I have done the Tunisian purl stitch, okay? And when you see, let me see, somebody had recommended that I point with a crochet hook and not my finger, okay? So let me go ahead and do that. Let me find a contrasting color. Okay, so here you see a short stitch, a long stitch, a short stitch, and a long stitch. So these short stitches that you see here are the purl stitches, and these long stitches that you see here are the knit stitches. So the pattern is Tunisian simple, purl, simple, purl, simple, purl, okay? Now, in order to get it to stagger this way, you see how it's staggering and you have this kind of like diagonal line flow going? You're going to alternate it. Let me show you what I mean by that. So this first stitch was the Tunisian simple stitch. Now if you go ahead and you look, this one is the Tunisian purl stitch. So when you see a Tunisian purl stitch from the previous row, you're going to go ahead and do the opposite. What's the opposite of the purl stitch? The opposite of the purl stitch is the simple stitch in this case. So again, yarn it back, insert the hook from right to left, yarn over, pull it through. We're going to leave them on there. Now, the previous row, we had a Tunisian simple. We're going to do the opposite. That would be a purl stitch. Let me show you how to make that purl stitch. We're going to put the yarn in front now. Okay? I'm going to put the yarn in front of the hook before I insert it. So my yarn is in front. Again, I'm going to look for the leg. I'm going to insert my hook from right to left. Okay? I'm going to yarn over and pull it through just that stitch. Okay? Now I have 4 loops. I'm going to try another set. This is the purl. I'm going to go ahead and do the simple stitch. Yarn and back, insert from right to left, yarn over, pull it through. This stitch here, that is the Tunisian simple. I'm going to make a purl. Yarn in front, hook from right to left, and then make the stitch. Okay? Now, if you don't want to look at the previous row, you don't have to, just remember the pattern. So my last stitch was a purl, so my next stitch is going to be a Tunisian simple. I'm going to insert from right to left and pull it through. Then I'm going to put the yarn in front, insert from right to left and pull it through. And I'm going to go ahead and do that all the way down. Yarn in back, Tunisian simple, yarn in front, Tunisian purl. Now you're going to hear a clicking sound. That's because this is tapping on the table. Okay. All right. So we're going to do a Tunisian simple, yarn in back, from insert from right to left, pull it through, and yarn in front and pull it through. I'm going to go ahead and do that all the way down the row, and I'm going to meet you at the end of the row. Okay. Okay, so I'm about halfway through this row, and all my stitches are all clumped up on my hook. So this is where the cord comes in. So I'm going to go ahead and gently just stretch out my stitches, and they're going to start going onto the cord. Okay, I'm going to continue down the row. My last stitch was a purl, and my next one will be a simple. Yarn in back, Tunisian simple, yarn in front, yarn in back, yarn in front. Okay, that's basically all you have to remember. And as I go, I'm loosening my stitches onto the hook, onto the cord. Okay, we're getting to the end of the row. All right, so I want to show you how to finish off those stitches. So I'm going to do the last few. Yarn in back, yarn in front. You'll get the hang of this. Yarn in back, yarn in front. And if you make a mistake, don't forget, don't be afraid to pull out the stitches, okay? Because it's easy to pick up where you left off, all right? If you make a mistake, all you have to do is just take that last stitch off the hook and pull and begin the pattern where you left off. It's as simple as that. It's not too complicated or too scary. Crochet is very forgiving and easy to repair your mistakes, okay? So that was a purl. We'll do a simple. Now we've come to the end of the row. So remember I said in order to get this nice straight line here, you're going to begin and end every row with the Tunisian simple stitch. So no matter what this last stitch was here, this next stitch, the last stitch on the row is always going to be a Tunisian simple. For Tunisian simple, the yarn goes in the back, hook from right to left, yarn over, and pull it through. Okay, now there is one more stitch after this, and that's the edging. Okay, so this is the last stitch on the front, but we're going to do the edging. So I want you to insert the hook under the front leg and the back leg of the V, just like in crochet. Okay, and yarn over and pull it through. Okay, you're going to get this nice stitch here at the end. I'll go ahead and show you that again. I'm going to look for the V. Here's my V. See it right here? The front leg and the back leg of the V. Yarn over and pull it through. See how nice that is? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show you the return pass. Very simple. It's just like it's almost always the same. At least for this pattern, it's going to be very simple. You yarn over, if your stitch is ready, you yarn over and you pull it through the first loop, yarn over, and then for the rest of the row you pull it through 2. Okay, yarn over and pull it through 2 all the way till you get to the end. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and I'm going to go and I'm going to meet you at the end of the round. Okay, so we've come toward the end. I just want to show you the last few stitches. So we're going to yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over, pull it through 2. As you can see, I made a little bit of a mistake there. I'm just going to pull it out on that last stitch here. Okay, yarn over, pull it through 2, yarn over and pull it through 2. I now have 1 loop and I have finished that row. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to finish. Let me pull the camera again closer so that you can see the row. You see how it's open? It kind of looks like a fillet stitch. You see that? We don't want that. We want all the stitches to be closed up. So I'm going to go ahead and close this up. And I want it to look like this one. So I'm just going to do the Tunisian simple stitch all the way down. Let me show you how to do that. So I'm going to finish. This is my last row. So you see I have 1 hook here, right? Move over. I have 1 hook here. So I'm going to look for my first stitch from the previous row, insert my hook, yarn and back, insert my hook from right to left, yarn over, pull it through. But because this is my last row, I am going to go ahead and complete that stitch. Okay, so I'm going to take it and pull it through that one. Okay, want to see it again? Okay, I'm going to find the stitch from before, yarn and back, insert the hook from right to left because we're doing the Tunisian simple stitch. We're going to wrap it around and pull it through that stitch and the stitch on the hook. You see how it's starting to close it up now? That's what we want. We're going to go ahead and do that all the way down. Yarn and back, insert the hook from right to left, yarn over, pull it through and pull it through. One more time. Insert the hook from right to left with the yarn and back, yarn over, pull it through and pull it through. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that all the way down the row, right? And I will meet you at the end. Okay, you see how nice? Look at that lovely little edge that it's making. Okay, I'm going to keep working. I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so we're up to the last few stitches. I want to show you again how to complete. Look at the edging of this, nice and tidy. It's going to be easy to attach it to another panel when I go ahead and make my pillow. So yarn and back, insert the hook from right to left, yarn over, and you can go ahead and pull it through both loops. Okay, so when I showed you initially, I did it step by step, but go ahead, pull it through both loops at one time if you're confident. See, just like that. It's the same thing. I'm just doing it a little bit faster, okay? I just wanted you to see it step by step. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this. Now we're up to the last few stitches. Pull it through, Okay, and remember, look for that edge. Look for that edge. You see the two V's? Insert under the first leg and under the last leg of the V. Pull it through both. There you go. You have one panel. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. My scissors. Cut that off. Okay. So this is one panel that I'm going to use for my pillow. Okay. See, nice clean edges all the way around, pretty much a square. And so that is called, I believe this is called the honeycomb stitch. Again, this is what it looks like in the front. Very pretty, right? And this is what it looks like in the back. These are called purl stitches, just like in knitting. Yeah. Okay, so that is panel 1. I'm going to get started. I would like to show you panel 2. I just started it. This is going to be my back panel. And if you would like to learn how to make this panel, go ahead and click on the next video, and I'm going to show you how to make this panel right here. Okay, the veil.